It's a great day here in the countryside. We're at Lakeside Drive, and the Lakeside landscaping is the theme today. We're on Fish Lake, we're in Goshen, Indiana. Jerry and Rena are the homeowners, and what a delight it was, Mark, to meet them today.
They're lovely folks, Craig, and almost 6 years ago they started out as customers, but it's really involved over time, more of a friendship.
Yes, well, they are delightful, and we will be, I think, maybe talking to one or the other, or maybe both later on in the program. But tell us a little bit about what's going on here. We've got some front landscaping, some back. Again, Lakeside landscaping is the theme. And what we're talking about right here is very practical in what you've done. Not only practical, but good looking.
Well, thank you. And Craig, this was challenging before any of this existed here. This upper level, we've got a roadway here, and unfortunately this water comes washing through here. So we had a lot of washouts and had to address that situation. And then also is a rather steep hillside, and it was very difficult to mow. So instead of having this as a mowable lawn area, we decided to put in plantings. We needed to do some retention here, and the coolest thing is this flagstone was actually in the backyard being used as a patio.
Yeah.
And we just designed and installed a new concrete patio, so this was an opportunity to repurpose the stone here, and our crews have done an amazing good job of putting this together. It's almost like a puzzle.
Yeah.
And repurposing the stone to terrace this hillside.
The flagstone really would do a great job, wouldn't it, collecting the water before it runs off down below here, huh?
The water does continue to flow through here, but instead of taking dirt with it, it is going through a filtration process here.
Very, very resourceful in reusing and repurposing the stone. Mark, what else is going on here that you want to talk about?
Well, it's not only the stone that we repurposed. There's actually some of these plantings that were in the backyard that were in the way of the new patio. This Japanese maple tree here, some of these perennials, these gold flame spireas, they were all located in the backyard. We came in earlier this season, dug them up, potted them, took them back to our nursery, and then incorporated them into this design. Those gold colored leaves work out really well as a contrast of color with the stone bark ground cover.
They sure do. Well, let's talk about the front a little bit. You want to work over that way?
Okay, let's go.
Let's do it. Well, the beauty of what we're talking about here today is not only the lakeside landscaping, but Mark, as we move to the front, we realized that not only is the landscaping beautiful, but it's been here for 6 years. And what a testament to the job you've done, and then the job that, well, Jerry and Rena do to maintain it, which it doesn't take a lot of time.
Well, that is their passion, and Rena enjoys coming out here and deadheading, and she's always asking me questions on how to properly do things. She wants to take very good care of it, and she takes a lot of pride into her landscape here.
There was a huge shade tree here that they just loved, and they built the home over 30 years ago. I asked Jerry, I said, Jerry, was that shade tree here when you got here? And he said, actually it was. So it was something they really, really loved, but something happened to it.
They actually designed and built the house around it. Unfortunately, it was an ash tree, and all throughout our area, the ash trees are being killed by an insect called emerald ash borer. And if you have an ash tree, unfortunately, it is hopeless to prevent the death. And we've been watching and monitoring this tree for quite a few years, and it's just been slowly declining, and it got to the point where there just wasn't really any life left. So it was so big I couldn't even put my arms around it, and it was positioned right here. So we had tree service company come in here, take down the tree and grind out the stump, and really ideally wanted to plant another shade tree here. That they appreciated that, but the realization was that it wasn't going to be a shade tree in our lifetime. And so instead of going the shade tree route, we decided to do something more decorative and ornamental. And so wanted this to blend in with the existing landscape. It left a huge hole here, and so we decided upon this flowering dogwood tree. We've got the dark brown brick of the house, and so we went with a white flowering dogwood tree for some nice color contrast.
Yeah, a lot of contrast going on here, a lot of variety. some new, and some not so new, right? As we mentioned.
Exactly, Craig. To your left, the viewer's right. We've got a magnolia tree there, and that was part of the original landscape. And so we created that as a focal point. It did a very large bed around it, and since it blooms during the springtime, we've got summer blooming hydrangeas here. You can see beautiful flowers on the hydrangea. Rena does an excellent job with the impatiens. She plants annuals every year. And because underneath this stone ground cover, we've got a woven fabric weed barrier, it'd be rather challenging to go around and planting annuals, except for she had us take some large nursery containers, the pots that we grow the plants in, and actually sink and bury them down in the ground. And then we've got heavy clay soil here, and that's not the best for annual flowers. And so we've amended the soil. We've used our own potting growing media, and that ensures that her annuals will thrive. So each year she just plants up all these pre-designated, pre-designed areas with the annual flowers.
Well, I would imagine someone watching right now at home maybe just picked up a fantastic tip that they didn't know about.
Well, it's a secret. Don't tell anyone.
Okay. Well, let's head to the back. That's no secret. There's a lot going on back there.
There is, and we just got done doing from the back corner to the back corner of the house
All
and a
right.
new patio.
Very good. Well, when we were in the front, Mark, we looked at landscaping that began 6 years ago. Back here, though, totally different story. It was 1 week ago that you finished this project back here.
Exactly. And the design process actually started earlier this spring, and worked with the homeowner here. It was an opportunity to design a new patio and enlarge the outdoor living area. And so it worked on developing and designing this stamped concrete patio that you see here, which gives them a really nice outdoor living area. And what I like is the deck up above actually provides shade for this down below.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got a little bit of a visual block going on over here, don't you?
That's exactly what we call it. You know, there's almost a 2-foot grade change or difference here. And the concern was that maybe some of the guests that weren't familiar with the property might fall off the edge here, and didn't want that to happen. And so we've got a little dwarf burning bush hedge here. You're starting to see actually some fall color here.
Yeah.
And this will very easily be maintained, grow together as a hedge. Just simply prune it one time a year. Craig, we're accenting the corner with a dwarf Alberta spruce here. And then we've got our miniature drift roses, which will be blooming all spring, summer, and fall.
Very good. And they do attract some butterflies and other creatures, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Cool.
And we also had a grade change here. Of course, the beautiful lake is a draw for not only the homeowners, but for guests as well. And so wanted to have a designated garden path. We've got about a 6-inch step down here. And so we've used one of our natural stones. We call them outcropping stones. So we've got a stone step here, and then that leads to this sandstone pathway to direct the guests out to the lake.
Yeah, and it is a beautiful lake. You're absolutely right. And what a view back there. A little more dimension going on down here as we work toward the end.
I'd like to explain to you kind of the thought process here.
Please.
If you look to your right, you see a bank of windows, and we've got the sliding glass doors, and we've got the large picture window there. And of course, it's all about the view that we didn't want to interrupt the view to Fish Lake. And so that's why everything here is very low. And when you stand back and you look at it from the lake, actually, you don't see the concrete here. Magically, these plantings look like they're landscaping the foundation of the house.
Isn't that something?
And so we followed the home's architecture. We've got the low-growing drift roses here, low-growing golden junipers. And again, we're using a lot of golds and yellows because of the dark exterior of the house. We've got summer-blooming coreopsis here with a little yellow daisy-like type of flowers. This is one of my personal favorite trees here, called a Siberian weeping pea tree.
Really?
It blooms with these little pastel yellow colored flowers in the springtime, beautiful umbrella shaped branch structure, and a small composite leaf. Composite leaves are like ferns. You see all these different leaflets here, but a precious little tree that will never get any taller than 6 feet in height. And if you look directly behind you, we want some height here because it softens the brick wall.
Sure. Well, very good. And again, you just let it go. You don't probably do a whole lot of pruning on that one, huh?
Very, very minimal pruning. It does have the potential to grow all the way down to the ground, and so we're going to instruct Rena and Jerry just to limb up those lower branches if they start getting close to the stone ground cover.
Safe to say that your friendship with Jerry and Rena is secure?
Very much so. You know, she does a lot of emails, and we have emailed each other like at 11 or 12 o'clock at night. So.
Well, they're delightful people, and let's catch up with them right now. What do you say?
Sounds good.
Well, this is the beautiful home of the Hummerick House, and the Hummerick House's house is being featured here today, and Rena joining us. Rena, what a beautiful job Linton's has done. What do you like most about it?
Actually, the most recent, we've been doing this for about since 2009, a little bit at a time. And my most recent one is out by the road. It's a terraced area that had just been weeds and junk, and it's just beautiful now. I just love the design that is there. So.
Well, it complements the peacefulness. Mark and I talked about it. This property is so peaceful, and you must enjoy it because you've been here over 30 years.
That's right. That's right. 30 years, and we just enjoy. We don't plan to move.
Now, you've had an ongoing business relationship with Mark and Linton's. Every year, it seems, there's another project. Do you have something in mind maybe for next year or the following year?
No, not yet. He's done so much for us, but who knows? We may have something, but right now, I think we're almost done.
Well, you're no stranger to Linton's, and I know you'll really enjoy the cafe, don't you?
Yes, we've enjoyed the cafe very, very much. And another thing we really like about Linton's is Mark is very easy to work with, and his staff and his crew that comes out here, bar none, is just the most professional, and they want to please every minute of the time.
Well, you know, those are kind words to say about Mark Linton, but if you ask me, I think he's a little sneaky, really.
Why is that?
Well, look who's coming.
Oh! Well, thank you.
Rena,
Thank you.
want to thank you and Jerry not only for this ongoing relationship, but for this opportunity to share your beautiful home and the new landscaping with all the viewers out there.
Well, thank you so much, Mark, for working with us, and we just enjoyed every minute of it.
Well, this is a beautiful, beautiful display, and again,
Yes, it's beautiful.
it reflects the friendship, doesn't
That's
it?
right, it does. Thank you so much.
Well, Rena, thank you, and thanks, Jerry, too, for allowing us to be here at your home today. We really have enjoyed it.
Okay, thank you so much for coming. We've enjoyed being with you.
All right, Mark, I'm glad you joined us here, too.
Yes, this is gorgeous. Wow.
We'll be back in just a bit. Stay with us.